So students, under chapter sexual reproduction in flowering plants, in our last class we were discussing about pre-fertilization stages. As we know, there are three events in sexual reproduction. The first event is what happens before fertilization, that is pre-fertilization. The second one is fertilization. Then third one is post-fertilization changes. So we were learning about pre-fertilization stages. So pre means before, fertilization means it is union of male and female gametes, and male and female gametes meet, that is fertilization. Before they meet, first they should be formed in the plant, isn't it? So the pre-fertilization already we have learnt in last class. Under that there are two stages. Gametogenesis, that is formation of gametes, that we were discussing. Once it is formed, then it will be transferred from one plant to other plant. So it will be gamete transfer. So we were learning gametogenesis, where under gametogenesis there are two. The formation of pollen grain is called microsporogenesis. Already I told you in last class why it is called so, because pollen grain is smaller in size, so it is called microspore. Micro means small, pollen grain is smaller in size. So formation of pollen grains inside the anther is called microsporogenesis. You know, genesis means formation, like spermatogenesis means production of sperm, oogenesis production of egg. Here it is production of microspore. Microspore is nothing but pollen grain. Then formation of egg is called megasporogenesis in female reproductive part. You can see here where the ovary will have ovules inside, you already know, and these ovules inside contain egg. Each ovule contain one egg. So how that egg is produced inside the ovule, okay, that process is called megasporogenesis. So one by one we are going to learn here. First we will learn microsporogenesis, because we are learning now gametogenesis, first step. Okay, so what all parts we have to learn for microsporogenesis? The first part what you have to learn is stamen. Structure of stamen we have to learn, that is this one, because stamen is a male reproductive part, and within the stamen anther is there, and within the anther pollen grains will be produced. So first we have to learn about structure of stamen. Then we have to learn about microsporangium, that you will come to know. I will explain now. Microsporangium, as there are more than one, so we call microsporangia. More than one, plural form is sporangia. If only one is there, sporangium. It is like single, then bacterium. Many are there, bacteria. Okay. So microsporangia. Then we will learn about pollen grains. So these structures one by one we have to learn in detail. Why we have to learn this in detail? Because first step is gametogenesis. Under gametogenesis, first process is formation of male gamete. Male gametes will be present within the pollen grain. So we have to learn pollen grain structure, and pollen grain will be produced inside the bag-like structure called microsporangia. Name only says. Microspore is a pollen grain. Where they are produced? They are produced inside the microsporangia. So when I explain, you will understand clearly. So let us go one by one. So first one is stamen. Okay, so it is also male reproductive part, also called as androecium. So in the stamen you see the structure, that there are two parts. One is long, slender, that is called filament, and on the top you see there will be a structure like this, that is called anther. Anther. Together, these two together, it is called stamen. The entire structure is called stamen. It has two parts, anther and filament. Now we have to study the structure of the stamen. As you know that stamens will be different in different in color, and different in attachment, okay, where they are attached to, or different in structure when you compare stamens of different plants. Like for your study, you just take stamens of 10 different flowers, then you keep stamens of 10 different flowers. You see that color of each stamen is different, and the shape of each stamen and anther is different. Clearly indicates that there is lot of variation in the structure of stamens. Means from one flower to other flower, flower of one plant to flower of other plant, stamen structure differs. There will be variation in the stamen structure. Then in most of the angiosperms, that is flowering plants, when you look at the stamens, the anther structure will be, it is bilobed structure. Bilobed anther we say. Bilobed means you can see here two parts are there. Two parts are there. Each part is called one lobe. So it is two lobes are there here. Like this. This is one lobe and one more is there. This is other lobe. This is one and this is two. So two lobes are there. Two parts are there. Left and right part. So these are called lobes. As two are there, it is called bilobed. Bi means two. Two lobes are there. So anther is defined as bilobed anther. And if you look at the outer cover of this anther, there will be two layers, outer and inner layer. So students, we were discussing structure of stamen. We will continue. I was describing stamen as bilobed anther because stamen has anthers and there are two lobes here. So they are called bilobed anther. Then it is also called dithecous anther, where theca means outer cover. Okay, the cover is called theca. So there are two covers, two membranes. Like here, if you see, if you take cross section of this, like hold the anther and with a blade you cut and open it, then you will see a butterfly like structure, that is like this. You see a structure like this. Okay, then there are two layers here. You can see clearly I am showing two layers. You can see two lines on the outer side. So this is one and this is other. This is outer theca, this is inner theca. Two layers are there. Now if I zoom it, it is like this, two layers. This is one and this is other. So there are two theca layers, so it is also called dithecous anther, because anther is covered by two layers. Theca means layers, di means two theca layers will be there. Okay, so then each part, what you see here, if you divide one anther in the middle into two parts, these are two lobes. This is lobe number 1 and this is lobe number 2. Like you can also say left lobe and right lobe, means left half, right half. Okay, so two halves. Each part is called lobe. So one lobe here, second lobe, and each lobe has two circular bag like structures like this. So you can see one lobe, left side has two and right side, one other lobe has two. And this is what we call microsporangia. I will tell you why. Because microspores, that is pollen grains, will be produced inside the structure like this, the bag like structure. So these are called microsporangia. Reason is very simple. The word angium means bag like structure. So sporangium means bag containing spores. Microsporangium means bag containing microspores. Microspores are pollen grains. So pollen grains will be produced within the bag like structure, that is called microsporangia. You can see there are totally 4 microsporangia in one anther. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then in each lobe, you can see left lobe and right lobe. In each lobe there are 2. Here 2 and here 2. Left side 2, right side 2. Totally 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 microsporangia will be there. And within this microsporangia, pollen grains will be produced. See, that is why we have written stamen. So stamen contains anther, and if you take the cross section of anther, then you see a structure like this. If you cut the anther and open it, then you will see this structure. So in this anther, inside the anther, 2 lobes will be there, left lobe and right lobe, and in each lobe 2 microsporangia, and within this microsporangia pollen grains are produced. So that is why heading stamen, microsporangia and pollen grain. So stamen contains anther, and if you take the cross section of anther, within that 4 microsporangia will be there, and within the microsporangia microspore or pollen grain will be produced. I hope you understood what I am saying. Yes, this is very clear. So now, what exactly is microsporogenesis then? It's very simple now. Now I made it very simple for you. Microsporogenesis, meaning genesis means formation, sporogenesis means formation of spores, microsporogenesis means formation of microspores, that is pollen grain. So definition of microsporogenesis is very simple. Word only says everything. So it is formation of microspore. Microspore is nothing but pollen grain. Formation of pollen grain within the anther is called microsporogenesis. In simple terms, how pollen grains are produced inside the anther, that process is called microsporogenesis. Okay, so if we have to learn how pollen grains are produced inside the anther, we have to take cross section of anther, because pollen grains will be produced inside the anther. If something happens inside, to see that you have to cut it and open, then only you can see what happens inside. So we have to take cross section of anther. Okay, so there are 2 diagrams you will get now. One is cross section of young anther. One is cross section of young anther. I will draw. Another diagram will be here, cross section of mature anther. Both diagrams we will see now. So cross section of young anther, when you see, when you cut the anther, you see a structure inside. Like anther will be bilobed structure like this. When you cut it, then open it, then you see a structure exactly like this. See, like a butterfly. This type of structure will be there. See, this is a filament. No, this is a anther, cut part of anther. wherever you have cut, that you can see here, then 4 microsporangia you can see. This only if I magnify this picture, then it will be like this. Sorry. You can make it round little bit. Okay, so structure will be like this. Okay, then it is dithecous. You can see here 2 layers you have to draw, because it is covered by 2 layers, dithecous anther. Okay, then there is one part called connective. Connective means with that the filament attaches to anther. You see here, the filament got attached to anther, like a stick like structure got attached. That part is connective. It is called connective. Then this is one lobe and this is other lobe. If you divide it, left lobe, right lobe, then in each lobe there will be 2 microsporangia. You see here one and here one, totally 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so very clear. So now, so these are microsporangia. Microsporangia are bag-like structure. Within this bag-like structure, pollen grains will be produced. Because this is a young anther, microsporangia will be filled with some cells. Later these cells will produce pollen grains. What are these cells? Here also you can draw cells. What are these? What is this tissue? That we should know now. What is this tissue? Here also you can draw. So remember, in exam, board exam, sometimes they will ask you to draw cross section of young anther. Then you have to draw this. I will tell you what is the difference between young anther and mature anther. When I draw mature anther, I will compare both. Okay, so first microsporangia, when anther is very young, flower is very young, at that time it is filled with a tissue. The tissue is called, this tissue is called sporogenous tissue. It is called sporogenous tissue because the word says sporogenous, meaning spore producing tissue. Means this tissue later produces spores or later becomes spore, so it is called sporogenous tissue, meaning spore producing tissue in future. Means this tissue only becomes spores later. So you can also call it as the sporogenous tissue. Later it becomes pollen mother cell or microspore mother cell. See, mother gives birth to baby or young ones, no, like that. Here pollen mother cell produces pollen grains, or also called microspore mother cell, because pollen grain is also called as microspore. So pollen mother cell is also called microspore mother cell. Later these cells will produce pollen grains or microspores. Okay. Then here also you have to draw tissues, like some cells you have to draw here. What all cells will be there, that we have to learn now. Okay, so what all cells will be there? If I just magnify this part, only this much part, if I magnify, what all parts you can see, that I will write here. So I will just draw this much part only, one small piece, like this. This is one part. Okay, so outer layer will be called as epidermis. Outer layer is called epidermis. Outer single layer is called epidermis. Then one more layer is there called endothecium. Endothecium. Endo means inside. So here outermost layer will be epidermis. Then next layer, next to that comes endothecium. Then 3 to 4 layers will be there here. 3 to 4 layers, one after the other. 3 to 4 layers, that is called middle layers. Middle layers, not single, many will be there like this, no, 2 to 3 rows, you can see middle layers. Okay, then wherever this microsporangia comes, one part of that we will see here now. This is a microsporangia, and the first cell, outer cell of microsporangia, that is called tapetum. Tapetum. I repeat, the outermost layer here, the outer cover of anther will be epidermis. The next layer is called endothecium. Then 2 to 3, maximum 3 to 4 layers, one after the other. It is middle layers. Okay, then together all these are called wall layers. This word is not there in the textbook, but you should know wall layers. They form a wall here, outer wall of anther. Then this single layer of microsporangium, wherever microsporangium is there, the first outermost cover of microsporangium is called tapetum, and the cells are called tapetal cells. The function of tapetum is giving food or nourishment or nutrition to growing sporogenous tissue, because inside, as it is a young anther, it will have a tissue called a sporogenous tissue. Okay, so this tissue is called sporogenous tissue. Already you know, I told you. Why it is called sporogenous tissue? Because in future this tissue produces spores. So it is called sporogenous tissue, meaning spore producing tissue in future. So if sporogenous tissue should produce spores, then it needs food. Even when we have to grow, we need food, no? Food is required for everybody. So like the sporogenous tissue also requires nutrition or nourishment. That nourishment or food for sporogenous tissue will be given by this layer called tapetum. So function of tapetum is to provide nutrition or food for growing sporogenous tissue. So by taking food from tapetal layers, sporogenous tissue produces spores or pollen grains. Okay, so what about the cells of tapetum? Each cell of tapetum contains many nuclei. Tapetal cells contain many nuclei. So tapetal cell is multinucleated. Tapetal cells are multinucleated, means one cell of tapetum contains many nuclei. So multinucleated, and it will have dense cytoplasm. Thick cytoplasm will be there, but one tapetal cell contains many nuclei. It is called syncytium, you know. No? Syncytium. So okay, so again power cut. So we have discussed some part of it. So in next class we will discuss remaining part. Okay, so keep watching my classes. Thank you.